A sense that allies here, the friends of the US, allies of the US in its geopolitical battle, economic, technological battle with China, that these allies, the friends, whether it's across the ocean, whether it's the European allies the US has traditionally had as very steady friends, or Japan, Korea, Canada, Australia, others, and then maybe a third tier of friends, let's say of the likes of India. Do you think that this will ultimately really impact the relationship of these countries with the US, fundamentally alter them, fundamentally alter their dynamics? Because that's what you're hearing from many of these countries, that we cannot fundamentally trust the US anymore. It is, as you were also saying, to each nation on its own now, and that whatever impression you might have had of the US as being your friend, as your ally, as your partner, is just you painting a much rosier picture in your head than what actually exists. So is your sense that there'll be a fundamental shift in the US relationships with its friends now? Or is it a sort of a blip in the road and a few months later everything will be fine and Europe and Australia and Japan and Korea and Canada and India will be just as they were, as friendly as they were?
Look, I'm not an expert in this topic. My perception is, number one, the United States has built up some of these relationships, like with Europe, the UK, its close allies, for decades and decades and decades. And that doesn't permanently alter very easily. And there's a lot of robustness to them. Moreover, different countries behave in their self-interest and behave in irrational ways. So I think this is taking it to another level, but it's not entirely unprecedented by the United States or by other countries to do various protections for themselves. And then finally, there's a set of very strong incentives where, the countries have mutual interest. So for the longstanding U.S. allies, I guess I'm not that worried. I'm still a bit worried, and I don't think it's good, and I don't think we should be doing it. There's other countries, though, that have more of a choice. And, China is, a country that itself is quite problematic in the way it deals with other countries. It doesn't make it super easy for anyone in the world. But it has a lot to offer through Belt and Road. It is a bigger trade partner for the majority of world than the United States is. It has been escalating some of its efforts to get countries into its orbit. And so do you have some countries that could have gone one way or could have gone the other way that don't have, the 60-year relationship that the United States has with Europe? I'm more worried about that. But even there, there still is so much fickleness in all of this and so much interest that I'm not sure it's permanently lost, but it's, to me, a greater sort of path dependence type risk.